Here we go. All right. Happy Sunday, Strength Finders. Game Changers. What are we called? Happy Sunday Game Changers.
Or that.
Happy Sunday Game Changers.
Game
Maggie
Changers.
is very perplexed or very frozen. It could be both. She is definitely.
I think she's frozen.
It's Maggie.
Yes. Yep. Oh, she is unfrozen.
Yay.
Mickey's
Like
back.
For half a second she was.
Nope. I think she's frozen again.
Oh, she is frozen again. Okay. All right. Who is excited about tonight?
Woo! Yeah.
All right. Great. I love it. Okay. So, here's what we're going to do tonight. I'm not going to select all of you. I'm going to just let you volunteer tonight, not voluntold. Last week was voluntold. Tonight will be volunteer on sharing when you talk to someone that loved and believed in you, a person close to you, what they saw with your I am statements, okay? And then I want to spend a good amount of time on the new question that I put in Facebook and Vox on how you are using your strengths and your themes to work with the current mask mandate. Because I think when we can address issues like head on, and I don't mean issue as in it's an issue, I mean, you know, current events, world events. When we can use our strengths and our themes to work with current events. The current event that I picked is mask mandate. Okay? Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, should I do spotlight tonight again, you guys, or should I we just keep looking at each other straight? No. Andrea says no. So we can see so we can see each other's reactions when the person's talking. Is that why?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So who would like to go first and share their I am statement and who you shared it with and what they came out with? You know what I'm trying to say. Who would like to go share that? Oh, everybody's just jumping right on that. Okay. All right. You don't want to be voluntold. Okay. I won't do that. I won't do that. I will not do that. Donnie.
Okay, so I asked, I'll show you my list again.
Yes, yes.
And the first person I asked was for those who don't know, my dear boyfriend Joel of 24, 25 years. And he acted like I might as well have asked him, does my butt look big in this? Because he immediately panicked and went, well, I can't see you're just flexible, because then what, you're not talented and then you're not creative? Like, no, this is a trap. I can't do it. Like, no, just and I'm like chasing him through the house. He's like, get it away from me. He's like, you're all of them. I'm like, okay. And then I just showed my mom this, and she's like, yeah, that's all of them are you. I'm like, can you pick out a couple top ones? She's like, and I'm like, me doesn't count as a word. And yeah, I just got no, they all describe you. So they kind of, neither one of them were helpful.
Yes, I understand. I understand. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. You are humoring us and also probably being very telling as to how it could potentially go with a life partner or someone you know very well. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Who else would like to give that a go? Any other brave souls? Andrea.
Dory goes first.
Okay, Dory.
She already knows my answer, but I was just going to reiterate on it or build on it. But I feel like a rock star because my my significant other person was very accommodating and compassionate when we went through the list and said, yes, this. These two combinations work against that one. And it was interesting to see his take on it. And so, yeah. Do you want me to go any further, or is that good enough?
No, that's good.
No what?
No, she did review with me earlier and I liked it. But now you've said now twice is two things go against something. And this is all I am statements. So nothing should go against anything because this is all who you are as a person, all encompassing. So nothing would actually work against each other. That's not what the I am statements are about. So I'm interested in either unpacking that for a second or seeing if we could come up with a positive way to rephrase that.
Okay, he said that my passionate and my enthusiastic overpower my negotiating skills.
I think if you're a passionate and happy person, it doesn't overpower it. It's just that's the thing that's coming out first.
Yeah, okay. All right. So not necessarily overpower, but just is front.
Yeah, in the front.
Mhm.
Like, I see you're passionate. I see how enthusiastic you are. And now you want me to do what? So, yeah, whoops. Yeah. And he said, as a mentor, I love to share my information and I am really good at it.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Okay. All right. Who else? Oh, Andrea.
Okay, so I only did this with Gary, my husband, and he looked over the list and okay. So he kind of was like going through everything and he could agree with pretty much what I put on there. So I was like, I had a hard time getting him to pick out, like I said, pick out like 3 to 5 that you would probably say would be the top, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so he pointed, well, I know mine's just a long list, not very pretty, but he pointed out as his top 5, loyal, creative, resourceful, considerate, and helpful. He did happen to point out that some of these qualities I am with other people, but not necessarily with him. It's like, okay. Well, anyhow, things to work on. But, and then I pointed out to him, well, he saw at the top how Savannah that gave us that phrase, loved, blessed, and doing my best.
Yep.
And he pointed out something rather interesting because he said some of these things, particularly the word loved, he said, loved is not necessarily a quality. Lovable is a quality. So, you know, that's just my engineer-minded husband.
Yes.
Over analyzing a lot of things. But I thought that was an interesting thing because I told him, I said, you know, a lot of people had loved on their list. And I said, I didn't put loved on my list. What does that mean? And he's like, well, loved isn't really it's not a quality of you, you know? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. So, but this probably took him a half an hour to figure out what my top ones were. So
Also,
it was fun.
Also, all the opinions of the gentlemen so far have all been accurate of what I know of all of them. All right, would anyone else like to share? Katie.
I'm quick. So I gave Brian my list and I said, which 2 of these do you think I am? And he said, I don't know, diligent and agreeable. So
What was the first one?
Diligent and agreeable. You know what I think is fascinating? I'm gonna cut you off, Katie. Okay. So the reason we did this exercise, you guys, is to see what the person sees, the one who sees you the most, what they see. So like, remember, HG read Maggie's and was like jumping with all of them, right? Because that's the daughter, that's the 9-year-old daughter of what she sees of her mom, right? So Joel's reaction to run away when Dawn held up the list, I read it to Terry, or I showed it to Terry, and I explained, he's an information gatherer. I explained it, and I explained it again. Then he read it and answered it, and then said, "Was that right? What am I supposed to say?" I was like, "It's what you think you're supposed to say." So I said the directions again. So then I came at it from the director, because I gave him more information, because I said that this is something we had all done as a team, that last week everybody had written down their I am statements, and from what they wrote, I pulled out one word that I thought that I saw as their number one thing coming from as their senior director. So I'm asking you as my husband what you see as the top 3. And so, because he was concerned also about saying the right thing. So he said Christian, influential, and communicator. And he said them in that order. And I asked him if he could say why. And he's like, well, because that's what I saw. So then I just let him sit for a second. I said, can you go a little further with that? I thought, I got to ask this a different way. You can't say why, because that's not working. Oh, can you go a little further with that? And then he was kind of sitting there for a while. I'm like, are you still thinking? Because I couldn't remember if he was actually thinking or if he just was like, we just got back from camping. I didn't know if his eyes were closing or if he was listening. And he goes, well, I mean, everyone can see that you're a Christian, and I mean, you're just influential with everything, and you're a great communicator. And I said, okay, thank you. So prior to asking him then, you guys, I thought I would get another opinion from someone I don't see a lot, but who knows me dearly and deeply. And her name is Dawn Whitney. She is on Andrea's team. She is a very, very dear friend. And I'm just going to show you my list again. Just, oops, you know what? The paper one is upstairs. Can you guys see that or no?
It's too bright.
Okay. Okay. Christian, influential, and communicator are definitely huge on there. But I said, this is what I said to her. I gave our team a challenge. Anyway, Dawn Whitney is a spiritual mentor, I would definitely say. She's a very dear friend. She's an intercessory prayer warrior for so many people. She prays over Courage Nation. She's a great friend. She's a great friend to Andrea, a great friend to many of us. And so I just randomly texted her at 3 o'clock. I gave our team a challenge to not only create I am statements, but to ask someone that loves and believes in them which words stand out to them. I value and trust you deeply. What 1 to 3 words stand out to you most about me and why? And she wrote Christian, energetic, and influential. And I would add discerning. So I didn't have discerning on there. And perhaps after, if I could have ruminated even longer, right, with the I am statements, and I simply based my initial I am statements on the Strength Finder themes. I did not go too much deeper. I mean, courageous, confident Christian is something I walk around with all the time, so that was on there already. But I didn't go too far into that list because perhaps discerning maybe would have come up under strategic, or it could have come in through 6 through 10, because I didn't go down that far. I only went through 1 through 5. So I thought that was fascinating for someone else, right, to notice. So she picked it as one of my spiritual people and definitely influential. And then she added discerning because she knows the path of growth that I've taken to become a national sales director, to keep moving our team forward. And she has used that word on me for a couple of years, or maybe even more, maybe like 5 years now. So I truly cherished that. So I thought that was a great observation from that's someone who doesn't live with me, someone who does know me very well personally and does know me very well business-wise too. Because Terry said, as a Mary Kay lady, I was like, as a human being. Oh, so then he reread it. So I do think it's also fascinating that when we're asking the ones we love and live with, that can be scary for them. Because they don't want to goof it up and they want to say the right thing. And, you know, like you said, like Dawn said, you know, does these pants make my butt look big? I mean, yeah, that was a valid concern he had. He didn't want to say the wrong thing, right? They don't want to say the wrong thing. Okay. Would anyone else like to share or make a comment on that? Okay. All right. So let's move forward. So who has had an opportunity to think about, or now I think I just maybe said it about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Oh, Katie. Yes, yes, yes. With the new question?
Yes, with the new question about the mandate.
Great.
So many of you might have remembered from earlier Strength Finder meetings like this that I have put empathy on a timeout for a good portion of this because it can get overwhelming and I just get all worked up. But empathy is actually the thing that I'm going to pull out for this. Because, and I wrote this stuff down. I said, people are scared. Some are really scared of what's going on with this virus. I'm not, and we all need to get groceries. So I will wear it when I need to, but it's not about me. It's about making others comfortable in my presence. And if they are as calm as they can be, then my empath is happy.
Katie. Yes.
As
I mean,
another empathy top 5, Katie, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
To be honest, I was more worried about having a mask in my purse for how people would perceive me. I didn't want someone to get mad or angry or anything like that. I just wanted everything to be as cool as it could be. Which I guess that's agreeable, but as I'm reading about agreeable, it has to do with empathy. I like social harmony. So then I do the agreeable thing that everyone else is doing. Doesn't mean I'm just going to roll over backwards, but empathy is going to help me understand why people are all over the spectrum.
That is great. That is really, really great. So you can use your empath in a healthy way, living in the balcony.
And it's not usually up there. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with it. I'm going to try and keep it in a very specific spot in space, because if I let it out too much, it just all over the place. And then it has to go back on timeout.
Yes.
Oh, true.
I love it. I love it. Love it. What? Am I doing this right? Oh. All right. Mine's a little squishy. That's okay. Dawn.
So just today, I was thinking about the fact that since my top 5, again, are strength, communication, input, learner, arranger, that those fit in really well with the idea of making women feel comfortable in a mask and matching their eyeshadow to the mask. And today I had on a blue mask with blue eyes, and teaching them that if you just add brown in here, it balances things out. So you just don't look like a blue marker is all over your face, and just those subtle things that you can do, that you can match your mask, but not look like you're dressing like a clown So those kind of fit in all of my strategic communication, arranging skills.
That is
So.
awesome. What a great way. What a great way to use those skills, truly. Yes. Loving this. All right, who else? Mags.
Okay, so I'm another one of those empath ones. And while that is important, that's not actually the biggest reason why I'm okay with it. Especially with the events that we have had within our company, it's a lot of connectedness and responsibility. Because our company got in ahead of a state mandate, we have to wear a mask when we are in public, when we are around guests.
Yep.
Well, hello. Who do we have staying with us? I have been concerned about friends of mine that have been much closer contact, but because we all have to wear a mask, they're okay. So far, at least, they're okay. And the thing is like, I know when baseball started, it was very much like, oh, player focused and blah, blah, whatever. As they travel, if one of them gets sick, they aren't always at home. They're at their home away from home. They're at a hotel. Suddenly, that's a lot more people that are around them.
Yeah.
Guess what? When they're here, that means that's one of my friends. So I look at this like the same way, is that you don't know who you're coming in contact with. You don't know what they're dealing with. Kind of like that whole, in general, like, you don't know what someone's dealing with. Be nice, be kind. Well, this is another version of that. So I know connectedness is supposed to be more events. To me, this was more people. And I think it just right now too is that it doesn't hurt. Even if you think like, oh, it doesn't really matter, oh, it doesn't do any good, or whatever your opinion is, someone else may think opposite. You don't know what they're up against, what they're going home to, what they've already been exposed to. I know someone who has actually had within their family. And while they're okay now, they are more concerned, they are more cautious. So yep. You don't know what kind of people you're encountering that have had a personal experience, and they're doing what they got to do because they need to get groceries or they still go to work or whatever. But everyone's in a different situation. It's just easier to have some empathy, be kind, just do the minimum, if anything. And remember that we're all in this together.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you. Very heartfelt response. Thank you. Bortman.
Okay, so two of my top strengths are responsibility and positivity. And I feel like both of these work really well because I'm kind of a rule follower, for those of you who don't know. So for me, like, you tell me to wear a mask, I'm just going to do it because that's what the experts said to do. That's what supposedly will keep everybody safe. And even if it doesn't, it personally doesn't bother me to wear one. So I guess I would just rather wear it and just do it. But I like to look at the positive side of this too, that if everybody does it, maybe it will go away. I mean, at least for a little while. That's my hope. So I choose to think of it as every time I wear my mask, that I am making a positive impact and not spreading it to somebody else and not getting it. And that I'm just going to put it out there that maybe it can just go away. Okay, I realize that that's like not how science works. Okay, I'm not an idiot, but I feel like the more positivity that goes out there around this, the more it like will, I don't know. That's just I guess, I hope that you understand what I'm saying. So the responsibility is I'm going to follow the rules no matter what. And I'm really good at it, and it makes me really comfortable to do that. And then I'm just going to stay positive and just have it go away. That's all.
That is exactly what you would do. Yes, yes, yes. Sorry, I thought my camera. Andrea.
I'll just be brief, but this is a chance for my adaptability to shine.
Yes.
Adaptability is my number one, and it's kind of going with the flow, taking things as they come, discovering the future one day at a time.
Yes. 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 Sherwin.
I was just thinking of something too. So my top one is harmony. Whether each county is enforcing it differently, at least it's across the state. So it's not like, well, if I'm here, do I need to? Like, do I have to worry about it? Am I going to, like that? It's like, no, it's just across the state. It takes it off the board. In theory, we should all be doing the same thing. So you can have your own opinions and bicker on Facebook, but at least it's an across the board thing too. I think that's, I just, as we were talking about that, maybe I thought of that too. But
Sure, because that works in your harmony. That works very well for your harmony. Yeah, absolutely. Savannah keeps lighting up. No, you can't talk yet, Savannah. The chat was from a while ago. Okay, it's okay if you can't. She was having technical difficulties. Okay, all right. May I share for a moment then? All right, as a little wrap up. First of all, you guys, this is awesome. You guys are seriously, do you feel like you'll be able to navigate some of these temporary circumstances again by pulling out what of your top strengths is going to be beneficial to you and can help? You guys have like really mature thoughts. Like really, it's really good. Like really, yeah, like you put some time into this, but your answers are mature. You're learning so much about your strengths and strength finders and your themes, and you're using them so much that I gave you this question at 3 o'clock and your responses are very mature, which is, you didn't get a lot of time for an answer to be mature, but you are obviously living out your themes right now so well that your answer could be mature because you are ingrained in this now. And this is just who you be. So you knew exactly how to bring out, right? And if you're living in the balcony of your top strengths, if you're living in the balcony, then it's easy to come up with a thing. So my woo, when I was wearing it in Nashville, was, well, cool. How many different ones can I get? And let me get the ones that we pull up like the bikers, well, let's wear those out in Louisville because that'll be good there. Okay, I'm gonna woo people over. I'm gonna win them over with my mask. All right, there's not ever anything I thought I'd be saying in my life, but apparently I am. Your futuristic director, senior, went, okay, pull out your strengths for mask mandate, my friends. Your activator, number 3, said, think about this because you're gonna need it. Communication gave it to you at 3 o'clock today, and now we're talking about it and how we're best gonna move forward with this. And strategic, she's already doing that. Positivity said, oh, Dawn said we can match eyeshadow to mask. Okay, I'm gonna do that now. Number 7 is individualization for me, which is why also why I love Strength Finders, because you guys are each doing the things that are the best for you, right? And finding out how the individual can be, yeah, I mean, that's what this is all about, right? The person being the best that they can be. Competition, my competition is not really coming out in this because I'm not using that right now. Command I am to get your attention that this is something you need to look at. So command came out and said, hey, think about this because you're going to need to. And then significance is about the greater good. And we know that we are so about the greater good, right? Savannah, a power went out. I heard you say my name, but nothing after. Let me know if you want me to jump back on. My computer is done now, otherwise next week. Okay. Poor girl. Okay. We'll catch her up next week. Has this been helpful right now? Okay, great. Can I also make a couple observations? All right, so all the ones that you guys are talking about right now that you're able to pull out, that you're using in your balcony to come up with the answers to these questions, you stay there. And if you need to put someone on a timeout because they're not being a very good friend right now, that's what Katie had to do a couple months ago. She had to put empath away because empath was not being a good friend. So she just literally, like in her head, was like, okay, just go over here for now. And then we brought out the other ones. So if in your top 10, particularly top 5, but top 10, if one of those is making you not feel very good right now, then put that one away while you figure out who you can bring out to get us through these new temporary circumstances and navigate these changes that we're going to continue to navigate. Okay. I also want to say I'm really proud of you guys for how you handle yourselves on social media, because we are visible and we run the risk in the state of Wisconsin, because that's who we have on here tonight, but let's just say anywhere, but particularly the state of Wisconsin. You run the risk of polarizing half of the people when you make a statement that is too opinionated right now. So right now, we all know we all have opinions. You all know I'm never afraid to share my opinion about anything. That doesn't matter. What matters is the greater good. That's significance. Significance is looking at the greater good of everyone. That's why you see me do those live from the drive and whatever on love and compassion and life lessons by Lisa, because it's imperative for people to, like you said, know that we're in this together, to feel connected, to match the eyeshadow, to tell them to wear mascara, to talk about charcoal mask and how to make sure they're smiling. You guys, I actually want to get masks that say I'm smiling under here. I think that would be valid, and not just the actual smile, but I'm smiling under here, because it makes people stop and read it. I think that is valid. If that is out there, I think that's a thing. Yeah, I'm really proud of you guys and how you guys are pulling this together and how you are using these. So how about if, again, in the next week, let's give this some more thought. Let's see how in the next week we continue to pull out 1 through 10 for these new temporary circumstances. And it is temporary because everything we're in right now is temporary. Fluid is our word, right? Fluid's our word. So it's all temporary right now. It doesn't matter what becomes new normal, none of that. I'm not a fan of those. It's all still temporary. It's all still temporary because we don't know as things progress, like what's going to be normal and what's going to be new and whatever. All what we know, you guys, is that Mary Kay Ash was about being inclusive. Mary Kay Ash did not create FOMO. Mary Kay created Joby, joy of being included. Some celebrity probably created FOMO. Mary Kay Ash created Joby, joy of being included. My mother is been joy of being included. My mother has lived that way for years and years and years and years. If you come out to my mom's house to drive by and just see where she lives, you now have to sleep over. Like, you don't just drive by and honk and wave. You like move in for a weekend. Like, that's what happens there. So that's what right now we have to keep creating, is the joy of being included. That just keep reaching out to people and let them know that there is a group of people they can feel safe in. Like if it's your customer group, right? Or it's Courage Nation group or whatever. If you're with some Christian ladies or whatever, you know, workout buddies, whatever. Let people know that there is a safe place for them. Okay? Because I think that's going to be really, really important for people right now, is to know that they can talk to someone and not feel judged. Right? People need to not feel judged. Either way. They don't want to be judged good or bad. Oh, and lastly, so after traveling, you know, to Nashville and back, okay, so 1,362 miles. And now, this past weekend, being in Partyville, Wisconsin, which how serendipitous is this? Cece's not on tonight because she's doing a call for Beth Gallagher's people. Beth Gallagher lives in Partyville, I just realized. That is funny. Oh my gosh, I just totally realized that. Okay, so now, also having been there, which is near Portage, if you're not familiar, and people from everywhere go camping, and people from everywhere go there, mostly Wisconsin, and I would say Northern Illinois people, probably mostly Wisconsin. But nevertheless, the mandate went down on Saturday. Well, most people had been there since Thursday or however long people had been there. So, or it went down Sunday, right? It went down today or whatever, or yesterday. I don't know. It was weird. We were there for 3 days with no masks, and then all of a sudden they needed masks in the bar and in the little store. And I was like, okay, well, they're going to have to be flexible on that because people have been here for 3 days, and if they're not watching the news or anything, they don't know. They don't know that people need the mask to wear into the bar and whatever. So they were compassionate. They were understanding. They told people when they were in the store, hey, grab a mask. But if they didn't have it on, they didn't yell at them or whatever. I mean, that is also a place that is trying to make sure everyone's happy, right? Which is not still going to happen everywhere. But they're having the best summer they've ever had because there's nothing else to do. So go camping in your state because you can, and it's outside and you can be outside. But what we noticed there too is that people are just trying to do the right thing. They're just trying to do the right thing. Smile more under that mask because it is going to be so imperative. You guys, I think there's going to be a new thing that I think not only should we get masks that say I'm smiling under this mask, I think we should actually say it when we see people. My brother-in-law told me he was in a grocery store and he kept bumping into the same guy. You know how you do the opposite, you know, and then like you're down every aisle, you're running into them. And they kept saying, excuse me. And finally my brother-in-law pulls his mask down and goes, I'm smiling under here, just so you know. Pulls it back up and the guy goes, oh good, me too. So they knew they weren't irritated with each other. So I think that's where the Mary Kay lady part of us really comes in. Keep smiling, keep doing what you're doing. Work on this for the next week to see how this is working. Gather more data. All right. Maybe midweek I'll come up with another assignment, but focus on this for sure for the week. I think this will be a good one. Okay. All right. Love you girls. Thank you for your time. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks, Lisa.
Good night.